How you guys doing? I'm Devin Brown. Obviously this is Air. Don't have much to say, just kind of came out here and wanted to watch you guys throw and everything. If I had any advice, I'd say it's probably not to compare yourself to anybody, you know. Quarterback's not a cookie cutter position. There's guys like Lamar Jackson and then there's Tom Brady that are completely different people, but they go out there and win games at the highest level. So like I said, just don't compare yourself to anybody else. You're your own person and just try to get yourself better. That's all I gotta say.
For me, I would say just value structure. Like in college, you have a certain lift at a certain time. You got to go to class at a certain time. You got to be at this place at a certain time. You got off the field issues. You got this and that. Just be you and stick to you. Like structure is value in college. So just make sure you guys are staying on your P's and Q's and being consistent and persistent on and off the field. So that's my biggest takeaway and my biggest advice for you guys.
You guys got time to take a couple quick questions?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna start with the first one. Now where you are now, knowing where you were here, what did you learn that you thought was important when you were in high school that you now know is not important at all? What was something was not worth stressing or giving attention to?
There's a lot. I mean, stars don't matter, offers don't matter. Like all these things that you put so much attention to, 7-on-7 does not matter. I mean, you're out there competing. There's little things that matter with that stuff, but at the end of the day, tackle football is a completely different thing, and college football is a completely different thing. So once you get there, your whole kind of perspective changes, and so you don't have to worry about those little things.
Yeah, for me, once you put on the pass, it's a whole different ballgame. Like 7-on-7 is cool, like he said. Like stars and offers are cool, but once you get to that level, it's about who can be consistent. And if you can't be consistent, then you get moved to the side. That's how it is.
You guys got any questions?
So he said, what do you do at the next level that you can do to adjust to the speed of the game? That's a good question. I think it just takes a lot of reps and it takes a lot of time working with those guys. You know, at Ohio State, we're fortunate enough to have the best receivers in the country and the fastest guys in the country, but also the best defense too. So it's both sides. Just takes a lot of time. You got to get out with those receivers on, you know, play to run practices or get out there literally any second you can to get out there in the indoor or anywhere you can go throw with them just to build that consistency and that timing.
And for me, like you said, reps. Constant reps, you know, you going home and grabbing that football and just thinking about, oh, what I got this, 1A, 1A, 2, 1A, 1A, 2, 3, 1A, 1A, 2, 3, B. So it's a lot, man, but it's about you getting reps and you learning the offense and actually taking the time out your day to actually learn. And like, even when coaches are not looking, like, what are you doing? Like, are you watching Netflix and watching Outer Banks, or are you getting that playbook, learning the plays? So that's what it's mostly about.
How much accountability do you have to have on the playbook when you're in meetings? How often are you called upon? How often are you expected to know exactly what the question is, concept is, play is, other people's positions and responsibilities?
Yeah, as a quarterback, you got to know everything that's going on, and that film room really matters. That's kind of where your game changes and where you separate yourself from other guys. Coaches aren't always going to have time for you. You know, you're not always going to be able to go in there and ask them questions about the playbook or certain things. You just got to get in there on your own and just learn how to work that whole system and buzz film and buzz tape. And you know, for us, we have meetings before every practice, and there's a new install right before practice, and you got to be able to take those meetings right to the field right away. And if you can't get it done, you can't play. So you just got to be able to be quick on your toes and be able to learn those things on your own. Otherwise, like I said, you're not going to be able to make it.
For me, it's just breaking it down into portions: protections, pass plays, run plays, play action. You gotta break it down, man. You gotta find a way to learn and find a way to learn for yourself. However you learn is best at it. However you learn is how you learn, but make sure you're taking that to the best of your ability.
Any questions? There we go.
Yeah.
How beneficial is early enrollment?
Early enrolling? I would advise everybody to do that if you could. Doesn't matter what position. It's a big deal. You know, you got guys that come in the summer. I was an early enrollee, and those guys that came in the summer felt like they were the freshmen. I didn't feel like I was a freshman anymore. I felt like I already had a whole year under my belt. It's completely different. You know, you have all that time to learn the offense. You have all those practices. I mean, we just had 15 practices in a game, and the guys that come in the summer didn't have any of that. And so it's night and day difference.
Yeah, it's big, man. The early enrollees did a big thing for me, man. It's just big. You get in, you learn a lot. Like you learn more than the average freshman that's coming in the mid enrollee, I would say.
Questions? All right, I got another one. there is no program written about as much, on air as much, highest ratings as Ohio State, as quarterbacks. How do you learn to block or hold out the media stuff, what's written and said about you, what's written and said about the team, and focus?
That's a really good point. I mean, this thing right here is a cancer, man. You can't be looking at Twitter, you can't be looking at whatever people are saying, like, it does not matter. You got people saying you're doing good or bad, it does not matter. Like, if you're going in the film room and the coach is saying, you know, you did this and this wrong, but then you're checking Twitter and it's like, oh, this guy's amazing, like, look how he played and everything. Do those people's opinion really matter if the coach is the one that sees that stuff and knows that you're not going to be able to play because you're getting things wrong? It's big time not learning to not look at that stuff, because you know you grow up watching all these guys that are getting all the stars and all the offers and everything, so it's hard once you get there to not look at the same things. But like I said, it's a cancer, and good or bad, it's never good to look at it. So I would advise that you delete. Or not, I mean, sometimes it's good. Like, you obviously need social media and stuff for marketing, business, stuff like that. But I would advise you turn off all notifications and don't look at any of that stuff.
It's a mindset. You gotta want to stay off of social media. You gotta want to grind and, you know, stay away from the naysayers and the media and all that. But it's a mindset. Like he said, it's a cancer being on that phone, man. Like, everybody knows it. iPhone. Everybody has an iPhone, but it's about, you know, learning actually what you need to learn, not what you want to learn. Like, I want to be on social media, or do I want to actually learn the playbook and be in the film room and learn from my coach and get to know my coach and this, that, and the third.
Beautiful. And get with your teammates in the locker room, obviously, right? As
Always.
freshmen getting acclimated to a new program.
Always.
So, hey, give it up for these guys.